Hey guys, it's the Deej, Dan Jordan, and my man Crispin Cruz here on the Pipe Podcast for a special event that you don't want to miss, because I know what's happening in your world right now. Right now, you're making tons of appointments and they're all on your calendar, and then you're getting these little cancellation notices, and I know the reason why, and you will too, if you just listen long enough. Chris Cruz, I can't believe we're finally back again. It's been so long.
Dan Jordan, great to see you as always.
I know. I haven't had you this close in weeks. It's a terrible thing.
It is.
It's almost like you're a client of mine.
I know.
It's almost like you're a customer. I never see them anymore. They're always, they say, let's set an appointment. So we set an appointment. Everything's good on my side also, and then kaput.
It's crazy.
As you say, they putting off. I don't know what that putting off means. It means to me, when people do that they're not all that sold on the idea that their life is going to be better with you than without you.
That's exactly right, Dan. That's exactly right. You're right on it. So what I'm hearing, and I'm hearing this from a lot of our clients, which I think is a great opportunity for us to talk about it on this podcast, that I'm hearing that a lot of our clients are saying, for some reason or another, the prospect is putting us off. Like it seems like in the engagement piece, when they're doing a discovery, when they're asking good questions, it seems like the product or service that the prospect is looking for matches and, really well with the company that's providing those services. So it seems like they have a fit, right? And everything is going well. And then they get to the proposal stage and they're presenting the proposal and they're going through all of that. And then when they get to decision, now that's where the prospect seems to be pushing back a little bit. And what it sounds like, Dan, is this. It sounds like, well, hey, I need to talk to so-and-so and just make sure that we're good for next, Wednesday to get this thing kicked off. Or I need to talk to my partner still and they've been out of town, or I need to do something else, right? And then sometimes the prospect is keeping their commitment and other times they're not. And they're continuing to push that sales ball, down the road. So, to me, and I want to ask you this question, Dan, how do you handle that when you seem to be at the kind of the 11th hour and everything seems good, and then all of a sudden, your prospect is pushing the ball down the road? What do you do?
Well, it seems to me that if they're pushing the ball down the road, the sales ball down the road, it's because you, as the salesperson, have no sales balls. And what I mean by that is they're basically saying they can't make the decision, or they don't want to make the decision, or they don't want to tell you that they can't make the decision. And you need to call them on that and say, for me, it just sounds like this. Listen, I totally understand. It sounds like this is a no for now. So I'll just mark it down as a no. And if you want to get together, just let me know. No hard feelings.
Yeah, that's right. That's the hard
But
play.
That takes sales balls. And women can have them too.
I love how you put that. Well, so here's the thing, Dan, you're absolutely right. And what I've been trying to do is coach some of our clients to say, listen, you have to in some way open up that conversation, because here's what's happening. First of all, you have to go back to the reason why you first had the discussion in the first place, right? You have to remind them, okay, this is why we're talking. This is why we're here. These are the things that you said that were issues, concerns, challenges, problems in your business, right? And so you have to bring them back to that discovery and what we call in our world that pain that they're having. And then you need to see it, at that point, you need to make a decision. as the salesperson, you need to make the decision, is the pain great enough to make a change for them, right? So, and what that means is, do they have a compelling enough reason to change what they're doing today and do something different, which i.e. looks like, doing something in your business, like doing something more with us, with providing our product and service, with, buying something that's going to help them get to that goal, whatever that looks like.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, and it depends on, how passionate they are and how much they want to fix that problem. So if you outreach to them and you kind of convince them that they need this, that's a lot different scenario than if they responded through some marketing effort and they filled out a form and now you know that they're interested. Much easier to bring them back to, hey, let's remember why we're talking in the first place. You called me because you're having this problem, this problem, this problem. I understand if you don't think our solution is the right one for you, but are you still trying to fix that solution?
That's right.
So it doesn't have to be a very, in your face type of thing. Totally understand. And really for the salesperson right now, then there's so many customers out there. The world has just exploded. Everybody's a customer now. I mean, it doesn't matter where they live, doesn't matter what part of the world, everybody's got internet. So you don't have to be that desperate. I like to tell people that, if your lead process leaves you just a couple of, if it was a water pipe and it was just a couple of drops that come, each one of those drops are so important. I mean, you're dying of thirst, when you're dying of thirst, every little drop is the most important thing. And you wind up, getting you sounding desperate, and you have that kind of smell about you and taste, and the aura about you is all that thing, because you're holding on to those little drops. Man, people can drag you on forever with that when you're that desperate. But if you get your marketing plan going, that instead of little drops, you have a whole freaking a gusher coming out, a fire hose. Well, you have more confidence to say, to spill some water, because who cares? You always have more there. So a lot of this is dependent on your whole sales process. If you're not having those leads, if you're not having 50 opportunities a month, that's just a number that just seems to work. I've spoke about it before, but 50 opportunities or more a month, and you're virtually guaranteed to meet your sales goals.
Yeah.
50 opportunities a month or less, and you're almost guaranteed not to. It's like 16% success rate versus 85% success rate. It's just, you need those leads. And so everything has to work in unison with the process. But once that's going once that wheel starts spinning, it's hard to stop it.
Yeah. Dan,
and you always have more confidence when you have more leads. And so know what you want. All the sales training ain't going to work if you're only getting 2 or 3 leads a month.
That's right. Well, Dan, and let me ask you this question, because you kind of touched on something that's really very interesting. And
I'm from the Northeast. We're very touchy and feely. That's why this whole virus situation's been so disruptive for me. People don't like to touch anymore.
That's right.
Touchy guy. I feel like I'm killing him. Everybody's Typhoid Mary now.
I love it. All right. So let me ask you this, though. When you go into every sales situation, because you talk about the difference between having a few drops and having a fire hose, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. See, whether I am dying of thirst or I have a fire hose, every time I go into a sales situation, I think to myself, I have a fire hose. Because I don't want to go into any sales situation being, using your analogy, being thirsty. I don't want to do that. So whether I am or not, I never let on because
so you're a liar.
Well, I want my mindset.
That's right. So you're a typical salesperson lying to people. I see how you are, Chris.
Easy.
No, but actually, you know what? Let me qualify that, because that'll be a soundbite for somebody. But here's it's true. When you said 2 different things. You said I put on that I am. You ought not to say that, because that is lying. That's putting on a fake thing. But it's perfectly fine to hypnotize yourself. It's perfectly fine to imagine that of yourself and act as if, my dad used to say, act like the person you'd like to become. So you don't want to become thirsty. You want to become abundant. You want that abundance about you. So imagine that, and then you'll start acting that way. But I want to be careful with that, because I don't want you to think that you're trying to fake somebody out, or trying to mislead somebody else into think you're something you're not. Believe you are that which you will become. And then you're not lying, because no, that's what I am. I am abundant. I'm expecting it all. I know this works. I know that I'm honest, sincere, and proactive. I know that I will be. I will, set up the processes and the systems and the opportunities for you to make you succeed. I know that. I know I can bring something to the table. And if you don't believe, if I'm not that person already, if you're my only lead, that's fine. You'll walk away if you have to walk away. I will not starve, because that's not who I am.
That's right.
And then you're not lying. But if you go there, you rented, you borrowed your friend's car, and you borrowed your friend's suit, and you're talking about the country club that you don't belong to, that's down a road. What else are you going to lie about?
I understand, but what I'm more interested in is what you said a little earlier, which is the mindset. Going into every opportunity, saying to yourself, I would love to have the business, but I don't need the business, right? I would love to have it, but I don't need it. That's the difference. That's the difference of when you walk into every opportunity, walk in with your head held high. You believe that you have a great product, a great service. You have something of value that the prospect should or want if they're in their buy cycle, if they need that product or service right now to help them succeed or to take their business to the next level, whatever that looks like. Then you have to uncover that. And it's not by talking about features and benefits. It's not by like pounding your chest and saying, hey, let me tell you how great our company is, Dan. Our company does this and this and this and this and this. That's not it.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, people buy for three reasons. They buy because they have a need or a want, which is one thing. They buy because they have the money. And they buy because they're the person who can make a decision. So you need to have the decision maker, the person with the money, and the person who has the need or want. If you have that, don't worry about selling. They'll buy. If they have that, if you don't mess it up, you're in there. And so a sales call. It's just so much different than you think it is. It's not going, foisting something on somebody. It's presenting and allowing them to buy it. And with that, because you're giving them something, you're not taking their money, you're giving them something. And when you talk about mindset, that's the most important thing. You do have a need. Your need is to do the right thing. Your need is to accomplish your why, whatever that is. And everybody's why is the same. Everybody's why is to get a pat on the back from your dad saying, good job, son. And when you die, for God to say that to you. So, that's everybody's why. You want to be that person who's a good person. But so that's your need. You need to have that to fulfill your life. But one client, baby, that's not even close to a need. I remember when I was a stockbroker. It was in a billion years ago, and I was with this my sales manager, Jeff Factor, who was a really decent guy. And he was very disturbed because he went bald early, but he was still a good-looking guy. But I don't know if that bothered him. Anyhow, so Jeff Factor, I would always go to him. I had this client. He was going to be a big client, and I was trying to kind of mash him into a situation that would have been really good for him and for me and for everybody. And I'm like, man, I need this. And Jeff Factor said something. He said, listen, in your career, and I guess I was 28, maybe 30 at the time, in your career, throughout your life, this particular account is going to be less than a blip. I mean, it will be a blip on a blip. It would be so far nothing. You won't even remember his name. And about 3 months later, I couldn't remember the guy's name. And I still don't know who it is, but I remember that it was just such a nothing. But when you're in the moment, you think it's everything. So you're right. I have my little mantra that I use. I lead, not follow. I believe, not doubt. I create, not destroy. I make the news. I don't watch the news. I'm a leader. Force for good, force for God. Set the standard, defy the odds. I stand up. I take charge. I win. Boom. I'm resetting my mind all the time. Not to, I need to sell this, but I need to be the person I want to be.
I love it. I love it, Dan. That's great.
Yeah.
So
I could see you all nodding your heads in unison saying right now, oh my God, how can all this wisdom be in one single person? I know how it is. Well, and humility, I might add.
Every time we get together, I learn something from you, Dan, every single time.
Well, it's fun. Sales is supposed to be fun, Crispin Cruz. I don't know why you ever try to make it so scientific, and you don't. You make it very easy. By the way, for those of you out there, never met a better salesperson than Crispin Cruz. Never have. He can do things I couldn't do with prospects that I wouldn't even get in front of. So I've never seen anybody with the smoothness of Crispin Cruz. And I mean that sincerely. Most of the time I'm lying profusely, but right now I am being sincere and honest. But yes, sales is supposed to be fun. It's almost godlike, where when you make a baby, and everybody knows how to make babies, but nobody knows how the heck does this work? I mean, what the heck happened? All of a sudden, one day I got this, and it looks a little bit like this one, and a little bit like who thought of this? I mean, that's kind of crazy stuff. How does that work? That's godlike. You're literally creating something from nothing. And when you have you're walking down the street and you see somebody with a driveway that's all cracked in a million pieces, and then you're going a little later and you see somebody who fixes driveways, and you say, hey, I got an idea. All of a sudden I'm an old Jewish man. All of a sudden I'm Mel Brooks. Hey, so I got an idea. Or Jackie Mason. Hey, Aunt. Remember the guy with the ant? He used to, hey, Aunt, you're invited for dinner, and you're it. He was an aardvark. And so all of a sudden you go and you approach the person with the cracked up driveway, and you say, hey, if I can get this fixed, will you give me a shot? And they say, yeah. And then you go to the guy who fixes things, and they say, if I can get you this job, will you give me $100? And they say, yeah. And he gets the job. And next thing you know, from nothing, you created something and 2 more contacts. What could possibly be more fun than that?
That's right. That's right. And, you're reminding me of when we talk about the psychology of sales. And that's what I was talking about earlier a little bit, as we were saying, how to make sure that you always keep your head straight, right? And your mind right. And that's the beauty of what we do, because the flip side of that coin, you know it as well as I do, Dan. I mean, there is a ton of rejection in sales. Because at any time, the person with the cracked up driveway could say, I rent the house. I don't care. It's cracked up. It doesn't matter to me. Or even you get the owner, and the owner says, look at my neighbor's is cracked up. Theirs is cracked up. Person across the street is cracked up. I don't care. It looks like the rest of the neighborhood. So, and so that's rejection, right? You're getting a no, or you get the deal. You get them to say yes. And then you take it to the other guy that actually is the person that does concrete pavers, driveways, things like that. And you say, hey, I'd like to get this, I've got a great opportunity for you. I found this prospect for you. It sounds like they need help. I talked to him. I got this thing set up. Would you be willing to do the driveway for him and give me a little Benny on it? You said $100. And the guy's like, no, I got more business than I can handle right now. I'm not paying you for that. And there's another opportunity for rejection, right? I mean, we deal with rejection all day long, but
yeah, I agree and disagree. I'm going to change the word, because, rejection just seems more permanent than it really is. Because, what I would do is I would go to 3 concrete people. And I go through with them and I say, hey, I got a lead for you. All go and get it. Whoever gets it, give me $100. And so I get it from one of them because they're going to accept it from somebody.
Right,
But
right.
so there's more opportunity. But I agree. But instead of rejection, there is disappointment. For a salesperson's life, it's 90% disappointment, but the 10% is very addictive.
Right.
And
right.
really, how you have to look at that disappointment is that's why you get paid so much, because other people aren't willing to deal with that disappointment.
That's
but
right.
because you're willing to deal with disappointment every single day, you get big paydays. And when people say, what did you, I used to sell businesses and, commercial businesses like real estate. You put together a deal and then you get a commission at the end. Real estate is like 6 or 7%. In commercial real estate and businesses, it's 10%. Well, 10% is just 10%. But, so $100,000 business is 10 grand. $1 million business is 100 grand. A $2 million business is $200,000. And so there are deals that you can make 2 at 4, 600,000. There's $1 million commissions being made with literally $1 million commissions to a salesperson, and I said, what the heck did you do? You talked to me 6 months ago and you got these 2 people together and then and now you're going to collect $1 million. Why would you deserve that? And you know what you say to them? Because of all the driveways that wouldn't let me fix them. Because I had to deal with 1,000 people that wouldn't let me fix their driveway every day while you were sitting home waiting for somebody to give you a deal.
Right
here.
I love it. I love
it. You got to fight for that. But anyway, that's fun about it. What's fun is deal making. All that stuff is deal making. And you know who makes deals? People. And again, what's the best thing about sales? You get to meet a lot of people.
That's
and
right.
know a lot of people. I was speaking to a guy the other day and I found out he was a really wonderful man who has a special needs child that he's going to have to care for the rest of his life. And he's in a job and he's changed jobs in the past 5 years, several times with big companies, but they get bought out and this and that. And he needs more security. So he needs to get up into the kind of executive levels where they fire people less often. And he has an opportunity to do that, but he has to present more. So he really needed like a presentation coach. And so I was able to give him to a friend of mine and introduce them. And my friend of mine called me the other day to let me know that he signed him on as a new client. He was very excited and all that stuff. And he thanked me for it. And, just went on and into talking about all things. And just that, I didn't earn any money from that, but I earned, that's what sales is. You're making this connection. I was able to help somebody. I'm getting credit literally for doing nothing. The guy who I passed over is so grateful and thankful to me that I put him in front of the right person. The person who got the job is so grateful and thankful to me because they did all this stuff. This is how you build communities. This is how you build, countries, through relationships built on helping people earn money and in commerce. I don't know why I'm in this philosophical mood today.
I don't know either, but
that's
awesome.
Where I am.
I love
That's
it.
when the magic happens.
That's right. That's right. All right, Dan, any parting words to our listeners or our one viewer, on today's kind of topic of keeping it right upstairs, in the 6 inches between your ears, and then also, making sure that you're staying in control of your prospect throughout the whole process.
Yeah. You started this podcast, or maybe I started this podcast talking about people changing their appointment dates. They weren't changing their appointment date because they were busy. They were changing their appointment date because that other action was more important than seeing you. It just was. And that could be a function that maybe that is the case, that your product isn't as important as getting their hair cut or whatever it was. Or it could be that you didn't make it as appointment. It could be your presentation on the front end wasn't inviting enough for them. And so, as in all things with sales, all the answers are found in the mirror. Don't look for exterior reasons why something happened. Look in the mirror and ask yourself the question. Many times when I give presentations and speeches, I start it like this. I go, guys, you're going to hear a lot of stuff here that you may have heard already. But all I ask is this of you. Instead of saying, oh, I know that already, ask yourself a question. How good am I at that? And then get better. It's always found in the mirror.
That's great. That's great. All right, Dan, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I think we could end with that for sure. So thanks so much for being on today and being part of this. And I always enjoy it being with you, Dan Jordan, always.
All right, Crispin Cruz.
See you later.